now.
Welcome to Burnt Out. The Burnt Out podcast shares the stories of firefighters, emergency personnel, and other first responders around the world to create a pathway to save lives. The stories you will hear are real and may be disturbing to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. And now I'd like to introduce you to your hosts for Burnt Out, Skip O and Jeff the Old Guy.
Sean, thank you for that introduction. And I'd like to welcome everybody to Burnout Podcast. And we are here to help people, guide them in the direction of recovery, whether for their mental health or for addiction. I got my other host here, the old guy, Jeff.
Hey,
how you doing?
That's me. I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Don't forget to check out our sponsors on www.burnoutpodcast.org and see who is helping us take care of this dialogue today. There you go, Skip.
Thanks, Jeff, for that reminder. Hey, today we got a good friend. It's Tim Gallagher. Tim's involved in the fire service for years, an inspector and peer support, just a multitude of things. Tim, thank you for coming to the show today.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Tim.
Hey, Tim, could you give a little a background of yourself, years of fire service, the peer support inspector, and what you're doing now, and then we'll go into some questions.
Sure. So basically, I'm a 19-year firefighter at Wayne Township. Drove a ladder truck, a ladder 84 on the west side of the city for a long, long time. I got injured, had to retire. Started doing peer support about 8 years ago. From that, went into retirement. Was very fortunate. After that, got picked up by Indianapolis Fire to do inspections and that for the city of Indianapolis. In the meantime, I've been doing, like I said, doing peer support. I now coordinate the peer support program for Wayne Township Fire and for the Indianapolis Professional Firefighters, Local 416. I coordinate the peer programming for basically all of Marion County and City of Indianapolis with my partner, Brandon Dryman, who's a captain at the City of Indianapolis. Together, we manage and coordinate with the supervision of Hank Harris, who's the president of the local here, and Shannon Whiteley, who's the vice president. And we just help as many people as we can. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, what I do and how we help people.
Well, Tim, I know, I first of all, thank you for your service and all the hats that you wear today. And I know you were big when we sat down a few years back talking about the worldwide peer support, and you really helped guide us toward that direction, and we appreciate that.
Absolutely. Your mission there is fantastic, and being able to help across the world has been awesome. So awesome job for you.
Well, I tell you what, you know how it is. It takes a team. You got Brandon Dryman and a whole lot of your team members. And my job is put a lot of people smarter than me. That's why I pulled Jeff on this podcast, because he looks better and he talks better than I do.
That's just all the illusion, man. It's the illusion I create.
Tim, when what do you find out? Like we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago, Stomp the Stigma. Far as the fire department, the public, what kind of stigma still lays out there? What do you run into?
Well, with this job, man, it's that tough guy stigma, right? Is that we have to be tougher than the next guy or the next gal, the person sitting next to you. You want to be strong so somebody can lean on you. You don't want to show that weakness. So it's tough. You don't want to come back to the kitchen table and have somebody that needs help feel that you have to you want to be there for that person, so you don't want to show that you may be in a weaker state, right? And that's what we really need guys and gals to get past. It's okay to ask for that help. It's okay to be in a down spot and just make sure that if you're falling down that rabbit hole, you got to be able to reach out and grab onto something. That's the important part. To not get so deep that we can't reach out and we can't get out of that hole before something really bad happens. So as we're stomping the stigma or those catchphrases that we're trying to pass out and make it more the norm for guys to be able to talk about it. all right, and just or guys and gals to be able to talk about what's going on. That these aren't just weaknesses that we have, right? That these are sometimes there are chemical imbalances in the brain. That these are responses that the brain has because of the things that we see on a day-to-day basis. We're not programmed to see those, right? These are things that we're not supposed to deal with on a regular basis without being able to express ourselves and being able to talk. It's not from years past of where we're some of us were brought up to push it down, lock it down, shove it away, put it into baggage and carry it around with us.
For your department and the stuff that you work for, do you got different treatment facilities you use around the United States? And how do the guys and ladies get a hold of your peer support? What's some of the things that you do where it might not be a direct contact, or do you have people reaching out to you to drop by the station or be aware of an incident that happened that might have affected somebody?
All right, so I'm glad you brought that up. Great question. We've got numerous ways that we can activate our peer program here. So we've got team members through each of our member departments have teams. How a member can activate the teams. First of all, let's talk about that. So an officer can request assistance for their team by activating the peer team. The person themselves can call and activate the peer team. We've got flyers that we've hung throughout the stations. We've got flyers that sit on the watch desks. I put them in the bathrooms. I put them on the kitchen tables. We've got magnets that we've hung on the refrigerators. We have a website that the local maintains where we've got a tab at local or l416.com where all of our contact information for the peer programming sits. We have a quarterly magazine that gets put out with all of our peer information that gets put out there in our headquarters buildings. We just want to make sure that information is out there, that anybody can reach out and get a hold of a peer person at any time. When we talk about our facilities, it was really key that we vet these facilities and these providers. And this is something that we're talking about not only here at the local level, but the PFFUI president, Tony Murray, is backing this and talking about this on the state level. And we're going to talk about this later at the convention about these programs and how to vet programs and how to work with your area clinicians, because some of our regions are underserved with clinicians that deal with our first responders and things like that. So as a peer program supervisor or whatever my role is, you want to vet these clinicians. You want to go to their offices. You want to talk to the clinician first before you send a brother or sister to that person, right? You want to be able to have that conversation, see what their treatment methodology is, how they treat our people, what our people are going to expect when they walk into that office. Same thing with the facilities. We have visited the Center of Excellence. We have visited the Florida House. We've visited the Chateau. I've had conversations with the facilities in California. We've had conversations with facilities in Phoenix. How all these things happen. What are our people going to expect when they get off of that airplane, when they get out of that car, when they walk to that treatment facility and they open that door and they realize how heavy that door is when they walk that first step to get that treatment. How cold is that waiting room that they're going to wait in, right? How noisy is it going to be? Because this is a change in their life, right? If they're taking those first steps to that treatment, to that recovery, we want to be with them through that journey, right? This is not a pick up the phone and here's some information. We want our brothers and sisters to know that we're with them through the entire part of their journey, not just the first steps, because it is a journey that we have to take with them together, because recovery is a journey that we take together. There may be a setback through their recovery, and you know what? That's okay, because we're still going to make that journey together. And as long as they know that, they're going to get healthier. They're going to get healthier quicker. And that's the whole point, right? So as long as we can vet these facilities, make sure that we know where we're sending a brother or sister, make sure that the clinician and what treatment is right, we can answer those questions better on the up or in the beginning. That's going to make their recovery so much easier.
Tim, those are good good thoughts and ideas for other peer support teams and organizations to do that. Also, um, how many people that on your peer support do you have on your team generally right now? And you're based in Indianapolis, Indiana. Is that where you guys are based out of?
Yeah, so that's correct. So for us, we're very fortunate. So we use the IAFF peer support training model. Uh, so for the Indianapolis team, so how this works is our local operates the main umbrella of peer support, and we manage the all the teams that make up the local, right? So the local manages the overall team, and then Indianapolis Fire has a team as well. So Indianapolis Fire has, I believe, 24 members comprise their team. Then Wayne Township has 12 members on their team. Pike Township has about 8 members for their team. City of Lawrence has about 8 members for their team. Decatur Township has 4 to 6 members that comprise their team. Then we have several other trained members that are around the other districts as well. So how this works is that each of those different districts has, monthly, or they handle, I don't want to say the smaller incidents, but like as people need individual peer support or things like that, those teams handle their in-house items. If we were to have a larger incident, say a mass casualty incident or an active shooter incident or some sort of maybe a line of duty death incident, then that's when the local spins up the teams and we come all together to work together as a team. And then we activate all 60 of us to work together as one. And that's when we're doing the mass station visits, the multiple casualty visits, the hospital visits, things like that. That's when we were to spin the team up, if you will, and we'll do those kind of things together. So that's really the model and how it works. It works very well. Those larger incidents, when we spin up like that, we fortunately have only had to do that 2 or 3 times a year. But when we do spin the teams up like that, we really come together and work together well as a team. That IFF peer model that we have really works together well.
Well, I tell you what, from just hearing what you said, it sounds like you guys got it together. But I'm going to switch gears and go a completely different direction.
Sure.
One thing I wanted to ask too, with all you guys, all that you wear a lot of different hats. You do a lot of different jobs. I know just from the stuff that I know what you do. What do you do for your own self-care? How do you sit there for your own mental health, Tim, to disconnect when you get overloaded yourself by all these phone calls that you get on a daily basis?
Right. Well, and as you know, man, self-care is something huge. That resiliency is something we preach. So for me, I practice yoga, which is something that is for a bigger, broken, retired guy, may sound funny, but it is something that that Brandon didn't talk me into. It was one of those things that he is a yogi or a yoga teacher. I take his class. We provide that here at the hall every Friday. I've added a session, so I do that 2 times a week. Super beneficial for me, not only for the mind, but for my body. It's great. I never thought growing up that I would be a meditation person. I don't like to use the word meditation because it's a lot, as some people say, it's crunchy granola, if you will. But that mindful meditation really helps out for me. I try to do 15 to 20 minutes in the evening time just to relax, just to kind of center myself and use that mindful meditation to kind of bring it all in, contemplate what I've done through the day, relax a little bit. It gets me to a better state and helps me with my sleep. It is fantastic. Also for me, I just try to, my kids are all active. They're older. My youngest is in high school, so I build that time in where I can go and follow him with sports and golf and things like that. Just enjoying that family time, which is so important that we have those outlets. So I just make sure that I schedule those times with the family, with the kids, with my wife. We do the date night and things like that, and you just have to maintain those things and keep those priorities as well. I still struggle though. just like some of our people, where we are wearing those hats, right, Skip, where, things come up and, you want to take those phone calls and you get those text messages and, hey, brother, I need help and all that stuff. So it is tough sometimes where we have to punt those off to our other team members.
So if I'm getting this right, as a peer support group, you are also part of the CISM team too, correct?
So we here in Marion County, we do not use the CISM model. So the IFF, we use the peer-to-peer model here, and so CISM we kind of went away from just because of the benefits that we found from peer support. For the fire service and what we found, the CISM model didn't really fit what our need was. I know that CISM works in some of the outlying areas, but for us, we just generally rely on the peer support, peer-to-peer model. So that's kind of what we use. So it's super beneficial for us.
Yeah, you're a busy man, Tim. Yeah, you definitely sound like you got your act together there. I know a lot of counties around here in the United States stuff too that don't have a peer support program at all, and I hope that they tune in to listen to this one too. How would you go about starting something if you were to start at ground zero?
Well, actually, so we are actually putting a program together to help some places to get the peer-to-peer or the peer support team together. So, for our brothers and sisters that are a part of the IFF actually has a how to build a peer support team program that I would highly suggest. The modeling is there for you, but if just for people that don't have that resource, what I would suggest is get that peer training, right? If you can get one or two dedicated people that can get that peer support training, that's the key to it, right? The second thing is get a clinician that's going to work with you, somebody that is that is familiar with first responders, right? Someone that is familiar with that first responder or military or trauma-based background, right? Now, you want to have them that also have the substance background with us, because a lot of times those two walk together, right? Those roads, that trauma and that substance do walk together. So having a peer trained background or a peer support background, and then a clinician that has that with you, you have those walking hand in hand, that's going to be huge, right? So that team network that you get together, from that, then you work with your agency that you're working with, right? We're very fortunate here that our departments really work well with us. They are very supportive with our model, right? So from those, you get those three pillars really to build the team. We can work around those if your department doesn't want to work with you and you do have the supporting labor agency, then that's great. If you don't have the support of the department and you don't have a labor agency, it still can be done. We can work with you. Reach out to like Skip's group, the Worldwide Peer Support. There are agencies out there that can help you build these peer support programs. There are people out there that will help you with this peer networking. There are people out there that have the resources. I guess the biggest lesson is don't think you need to reinvent the wheel. Even if it is one or two people that want to start these programs, that is great. That is what you need. If you have the drive, we will help you with the resources to get that together.
That's outstanding. I like that. That's a great answer. Thank you.
Yeah, and I noticed, we don't want to recreate what's already out there for the worldwide peer support. And I've noticed personally, I've seen there's a lot of organizations around all the states that I've noticed. Some of the rural states don't have the big support, but I've noticed just a lot of things that we like to partner up with, because if somebody's having a certain issue in a certain state, we try to guide them to their peer support there in their own state, in their own backyard. But if somebody in a rural state or somebody that doesn't have that, they're disconnected from, they're either fired from the job or they got a different military or fire or police background, that's when we can come in, when we do our 3 support Zoom meetings on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and be peer support that way. Person to person is always good, but when you don't have that with technology now, you can do Zoom, you can do different other things too. So, Tim, I know I know all the things you do, but I remember we sat down one time and I was struggling, and I don't think I was being honest with you and Brandon when I was, I think it was 2018, 2019 before FDIC. Then we were going to present worldwide peer support. I remember you said something to me. He said, Skip, everybody has baggage, but when you get help, those people show you how to carry that baggage. And that still holds for me today. And I have never forgot that conversation that you said to me. And it's not those big things from those counselors or therapists that I always hold on to. It's from my fellow brother and sister saying those kind of things that, yeah, everybody has problems, but mental health, peer support people that's been through it can show you a different way to carry those problems or take care of those situations. And I really applaud you and appreciate you personally for helping me out at a time that I needed it.
Right. And Skip, I remember that conversation, pal. I think we were at the Rathskeller for dinner that night.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. We were there, and it's been good stuff. Just like this year, we'll be at the Rathskeller again this year on April 26th. And we got Jason Saltel coming and hosting it. And, Jason's a retired firefighter from Oakland. He wrote a book, but he always says, I'm the biggest nobody you're going to meet. He's just like us. And whatever we can do to shine the light on mental health and put somebody in the spotlight for a second to get people's attention. That's what we like doing. Is there certain things that you guys do? You do different events or do different work through the year to kind of spotlight your mental health with your organization that you do, Tim?
Well, we're very fortunate. We've got a lot of supporters of our program and some people that raise money for us to help us bring training in and some great partners. The Center of Excellence does a training here during FDIC week. They're going to be doing a training for us on the 25th of April. Our partners at the Florida House, they sponsor some in-house training for us. They sponsored or helped us sponsor a motivational interviewing class that we did early here in the year. Our group here, our Pride group, or I'm sorry, our Pride group from the local here, they sponsor a T-shirt every year that provides us monetary resources that allows us to bring in other training groups for training for our peer support team. One of our families that was affected by suicide, they do a cookout for life here that we do every year that we're going to invite AFSP to partner with this year that we're going to do I believe we're shooting for August to do that cookout this year. It's going to be a large party that we want to do to kind of celebrate that we're going to do another fundraiser type thing for. So lots of great things. We're also Captain Dryman or Brandon has got an event that we're going to, it's kind of a gentleman is riding his bike for suicide awareness from California to New York, and he's going to do a stop here. And there's going to be a movie that they're showing as well. That some details are going to be coming out real soon about that. So we're really excited about that as well. So lots of great stuff.
That's exciting. And speaking of AFSP, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, the Indiana chapter, Kelsey Aaron and Tammy Lundy does a great job supporting us first responders. Not only they're going to be partners at FDIC and be at our exhibit numbers 8512, but also we got the Emerald Society and my local union are paying for an Airbnb for first responders to come in that can't not saying they can't afford it all, but to take some pressure off. Because it's an expense when you come to FDIC, you travel your airfare, then stay somewhere, and then food and stuff. So we really appreciate Emerald Society, my local 1262, AFSP, and all the other supporters that not just for the podcast, but for the worldwide peer support. And you can see all of them on our websites if you go to those. So, but Tim, isn't it great to have partners it's great to have partners that have money, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Anybody that wants to donate to the cause and to help us help one more, and that's kind of what our mentality is here. Is that just help one more, and if as long as we keep doing that, we're doing a good job. So, well,
Tim, where can they? I know we got Emerald Society. Where is the locations where they can donate to your cause or get information?
Well, so we don't really have a donation site set up yet. For us for information, you can check us out at l416.com. That's our webpage for the local, and then you can get to all of our hyperlinks are set from there. But if you want to check out our peer support information, we've got a peer support tab on our main page, and you can see all of our partners that we partner with and just information for our peer support. If you need ideas from that, our contact information is right there, and you can contact us directly. We're here to help anybody with peer support information as well. But right now, if you want to donate, I would suggest donating to the worldwide peer support program that Skip runs. They definitely could use any monetary donation you have.
Well, I appreciate that. And I appreciate you telling them that I run, but believe me, there's a team that a lot smarter people that are around me that run the show. So, well, Tim, there's somebody out there right now that's sitting here listening to this podcast. It might be a firefighter, police, military, or somebody that's just lost in this life. And you got 30 seconds or 45 seconds to talk to them. What are you going to say? Go.
Just say, we are here for you. This is nothing that you're going through alone. A brother or a sister has been in this same spot as you. Just remember, we're here for you, and you're not going to do this by yourself. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We're here for you, whatever you need. Don't think that you're walking this path by yourself.
That's good stuff, Tim. And another thing that I always like to ask, what slogan or phrase or verse that rings in your mind when you're going through something? What keeps you going? Do you got a certain slogan or phrase that resonates in your mind?
Yep. Let's help one more. Just one more.
That's good stuff, man. Let's just help one more. That's good stuff.
I like that. I do like that. Yeah.
Well, Tim, again, I'd like to thank you for coming on here, and I'd like to thank everybody. If you ever need to get in contact with us or Jeff, go to burnoutpodcast.org, message us, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you want to need some peer support, you can go on worldwidepeersupport.org, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern. And the families can get on there Thursday too at 8 p.m. Eastern. There's tabs on our site that says families or for the first responder. And we got an hour of peer support. But for now, I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, thank Tim and Jeff. And just remember, when you go home tonight, shut your phone off, shut your scanner off, and get some sleep. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Burnout. Burnout is brought to you by the Worldwide Peer Support. You can visit Burnout Podcast at burntoutpodcast.org or visit Worldwide Peer Support at worldwidepeersupport.org. Your hosts for the Burnt Out Podcast are Skip O and Jeff the Old Guy. Produced by Sean P. Neal. A MyPodcast.media production.